Wednesday's Sideline sit down on Real Sports Live, joined by Real Hondo's head softball coach Brett Esparza and Real Hondo's senior Nayeli Garcia. Welcome, guys.
Hi, Kevin. How you doing?
Hey, Kevin.
Good to see you guys. We're just talking a little bit about softball and what we've been up to this past month. Nayeli, we'll start with you. This past month and what's new with you?
It's been a big adjustment. I've been having to learn new things, find things that are interesting to do around the house, like spend time with my family that I haven't been able to do because softball all year round. So I've been taking advantage of it and watching movies, eating dinner with them, just spending as much time as them as possible.
Coach Esparza, I know you've been busy as well. Being around the house more often than not. I'm sure that it's out of the norm this time of year. What have you guys been up to?
That's exactly right. I mean, out of the norm is perfect analogy for that. It's actually been a blessing that we have the time to stop and we miss the season and we miss the kids obviously, but a chance to be with our kids and be there for so much of the school. We're doing the remote instruction for our students, but then we've got a little one at home that's got remote instruction things to do. So being there for his schoolwork, and then the girls are 3 and 2, about to be 4 and 3. So we're getting all those moments, man, and we're really blessed. We're trying to see this as a blessing to be able to spend that time with them.
Nayeli, you pick up on any hobbies, maybe painting or working outside or anything like that?
I have gained so much patience. I got into baking used to never be my thing, but now I've become a baker.
What have you baked?
Yeah.
I bake because I'm on the keto diet, so I've been learning how to make keto desserts because I'm a dessert freak. I love desserts, so learning how to make desserts keto friendly it's fun.
How long did it take you to get the hang of baking, or was it something that you just picked up quick?
Well, my mom has been very good at cooking, so I guess I had the hand for it already, but I just needed to practice more on it. I first started with chocolate chip keto friendly cookies, and it came out pretty good, so I kept going at it.
What's your best dish?
What?
What's your best dish? What's your best dessert that you can make?
I would have to say the pecan cookies. Those have came out really good.
I've heard, Kevin, that her mom makes a world famous keto cheesecake that she's bragged about for a couple of years. So maybe that's something to tackle next night. We got some volunteers for taste testers once this all gets over.
So if you ever want anything keto, Kevin, I got you.
You guys do curbside, yeah. How about you? As far as I know you guys have been busy around the house, putting together a weight set and stuff like that. And any other hobbies that something that you picked up on?
No, we're actually just kind of. I mean, we usually spend the summer catching up on the house stuff. Power washing and painting and cleaning and remodeling or all that spring cleaning stuff. It kind of gets put on the back burner as we, softball season takes the precedent of our time, but. No, I mean, we've been doing just that. I mean, we were very fortunate to order a home gym right as our gym shut down for good. And I got in the car the next morning, drove to McAllen and we bought a home gym and came home and put that sucker together. And now the pieces are coming in, the flooring and this and that. So yeah, we've done everything from reorganize the kitchen, to reorganize the shed, to clean the garage, I think twice, and then throw in now the home gym assembly and working out and stuff. It's been that's our hobby is everyday life now. Everyday life has become our hobby.
Speaking of being in shape, Nayeli, as an athlete, how have you been able to manage, both keeping in shape and
I've become like, I started looking into like home workouts and just staying on top of like still hitting, still pitching, just doing some spins once in a while with the heavy ball. Our school has been very good about making like apps for us and keeping us like active, like helping us keep us active and giving us workouts and just, and my college coach, you know, she keeps in contact. She sends me workouts too. So I just do those simple workouts and just take a mile run day.
And as a coach, you know, speaking to your athletes, how important is it to emphasize on them having a structured schedule? Now more than ever, because before a couple weeks ago, we all still had the sense that maybe you guys would return to sports, just maybe we could go back to school. But now that we know that's not going to happen, I think now, you know, coaches I've seen are putting more of an emphasis on for the athletes to have more of a schedule.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think we function better with structure. A lot of students who are at home, you know, maybe one parent or both parents are working, and still in the everyday thing, and so they're used to structure. They're used to, you know, breakfast is at this time, lunches at this time, practices at this time, this class at this time. All those kind of things are or structured lifestyles that these kids have led, and I think that's why, you know, even one thing is that college is sometimes a little bit culture shock because there is so much excess time that if you don't have time management skills, it's tough. And this opportunity to have so much remote instruction almost even prepares them a little bit for what college feels like. I mean, you know, if you think if you close that laptop and decide you're going to binge watch something that day and you didn't do any schoolwork, well, hey, you didn't do any schoolwork, and that's kind of the way college works. I mean, you decide, hey, I'm not working today, and I'm not going to do my work. Well, you got to learn how to budget your time, and I think that that's something that we've been talking to the kids about. That it's really an opportunity to kind of quote unquote practice what college can feel like is the, hey, we the teacher give you the assignment, we give you a deadline, kind of give you all the information, and then provide how to get back in touch with us if you have a question or we can help you further. And then, hey, the deadline's here, you did it or you didn't. And these kids hopefully pick up some skills, you know, and practice this idea that this is what college kind of feels like.
Have you been able to put together a schedule, Nayeli, to where you feel comfortable, where you wake up at a decent time and you do your schoolwork and then your workouts or your workouts and then your schoolwork, or have you figured out a schedule?
Yes, I like every Mondays and Wednesdays I have class for my English, and then every Tuesdays and Thursdays I have class for math or trig. So it keeps me, you know, wake up, do that, and then finish all the work that I have to do for those classes, especially for the ones in high school. So I guess having those classes in the morning helps me wake up at a good time to get my day started, and and then I work out in the afternoon, and I do like pitching workouts or just running workouts or just ab workouts. It just depends on the day.
So we're gonna shift gears and talk a little bit about some softball. And you know, just this past Friday, you know, UIL made it official that they canceled the rest of the spring sports. Coach, where were you at when you found out this news, and how did you relay it to the team?
Well, we were sitting at home, and I was making lunch in the kitchen, and my wife kind of called me over and said, "Hey, they're going to do a press conference, and something's about to happen, right?" So, kind of stuff what we're doing, and came over to watch, and you know, just started laying out the groundwork for how they were going to open up the state again. We were waiting for that. We were waiting for one, when are we going to be able to see our family? You know, if we're going to be able to see our family, and then the rest of our family, and then two is okay, what's going to happen with school? What's going to happen with work? And are we going to get to go back? And at what time frame? And so when they announced that school was going to be canceled for the rest of the year, I knew that domino was the next one to fall. And so I just thought, like, man, you know, me and my heart raced for Nayeli and Jessica, and you know, we have two seniors in our program, but I mean, you know, all the kids, you know, all the track kids, all the golfers. Our soccer team won the district, and then they're about to make a playoff run, and they have arguably the best team they've ever had, you know, and to think that their season is going to be you know what could have been, and there's so many good softball teams out there that are, I'm sure they feel the same way, and it's one of those things. And I told the girls yesterday in our meeting, we were trending upward. We had taken our lumps, we had found the right gel, we had weathered the storm of the gauntlet preseason that we knew we were going to have, and we were 3-0 because of it. We had what I felt was a commanding lead of the district, and we're scoring runs in bunches, and Nayeli was doing a fantastic job in the circle, and we really had kind of the right pieces in place to really not just try to sharpen ourselves up for the playoffs, and then to come out and abruptly end it. I was at loss for words, and so that Friday I didn't reach out to them, and the first thing I thought about was actually senior night. That's something that we don't do parents' night in Hondo. We do senior night, and I think that's something that we started about 5 or 6 years ago. That really on the game that the seniors pick. It's usually like the last La Feria game, the last PI game. They get their numbers in the grass, and the parents come out in the field, and the whole thing is about them. And so it's a big deal, and we've loved doing it every year. And then, lo and behold, Nayeli's watched 3 of them and wouldn't get hers. So well, how do we honor these kids, right? So let's put together like something for them. So we sent them to something on Saturday, and a little video for them, kind of like to honor them, and that's kind of where we're at. And then yesterday we had our Tuesday meeting with our kids, and we just kind of talked about where do we go from here. We talked about the season. We tried to point out some of the things that were positive, just like we would in a regular OT meeting. Hey, this is what was happening. It was good. This is what probably continues to be worked on, and then we kind of did our postseason summary of where we go. Where do we go from here? And the hard thing is I don't have any answers. I don't have any answers to anything as far as like everybody's thinking now. Okay, what about travel ball? Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're doing about travel ball. What about camps? Well, you just saw UTRGV cancel all their camps. So the thing about it is we're all kind of learning from this, and so we're all kind of, as I get information, I think that's why it's important we continue to have meetings with the kids. Is that as we get information, we're always that voice for them, so we can relay that to them immediately, and that's kind of where we're at.
Nayeli, obviously, it affects you the most because you were a senior this year. How did you find out the news, or where did you first see the news?
Well, it felt like a normal day. I was scrolling through Twitter, and I just saw everybody like posting pictures about saying goodbye, and I was very like what's going on, like. And so I finally got to the UIL tweet where it said like our season was finally like canceled completely, and I just didn't know what to think. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like it took me a while to process what was going on, but I knew that like I played 3 years, really good years playing, and we went very far, and so I knew I wasn't ending on a bad note. And like I know that I'm still gonna go to college and play, so I didn't feel so bad once I thought about like the whole picture. Mm-hmm. So I knew that I had to text the girls and just give them a proper, like, not goodbye, but a proper ending. So I explained to them, and I just told them things happened, and I know that we ended like not the way we wanted to end, but there's really nothing like that we can do. So I just wanted them to know that next year they can do the same thing. They can get together and they can have a great season like they wanted this year. That it's possible.
One conversation I had with Miko Vento just the other day was something that we had just kind of thought about it on the fly, was that some teams still played. I know you guys still played. A lot of other teams didn't play. So one thing we talked about with Miko was that just the uncertainty and maybe just the nervousness on getting on that bus. And for them, they went to Mercedes, they played in Brownsville that night. for them thinking in the back of their heads that this could be their last game, there was just so much uncertainty. We didn't know which way we were going at that point. What was the bus ride like to Raymondville that day? Was it the same, or was it just business as usual for you all?
All right, go first, Nayeli. Go ahead.
I feel like we got on that bus, like, because we had already saw, like, when we were getting at the field, putting everything together, we had saw, like, the UIL thing, and everybody was freaking out, thinking, you know, our season's over, like, we're not going to play no more. But coach explained to us, like, it's not a for sure thing. We're still going to play this game. So I guess we got on the bus feeling like we had to spend as much time together and connect. And so we all got together. We talked more. I felt like we played music. We were laughing. We did our normal nap break. But I feel like we got off that bus knowing that we had to play as best as our like at our abilities. And I feel like we did that. Like, I feel like we went out there and we played our hearts out. Like we always say, you know, you never believe when people say, play like it's your last game. But I think about it, and we really did play like it's our last game. So I guess in the back of our heads, we knew that there was a very high possibility that we were not going to be able to play again.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I think we were that whole day was a whole, whether or not even our powerlifting team could go to regionals, and I think state was the next week for girls, and so there was a lot of that conversations. And we're such a small school that, I mean, all that stuff gets out immediately, you know. So it was a whole big ordeal that afternoon, and then Coach James and Mr. Garcia, our superintendent, and Mr. Rubalcaba said, no, you guys are gonna keep playing it. You know, we'll let for UIL make a decision, but continue as is. And so once we heard that from them, I told the girls, so look, they're gonna let us play. I can't tell you, tomorrow's not promised. Spring break's not promised, but we're gonna go out and play. And so you might as well end on a high note if this is your last one. I hope that kind of thing. And it was. I think once you kind of got settled in, it was business as usual. But no, there was a moment there, like before and especially after, where I really felt eerie. Like, man, what I didn't want to get to Raymondville, and then they say, okay, we're not playing. Like, this is more serious than we thought, and then you kind of prepare for something, and then the rug's pulled out underneath you. So the fact that we're able to at least finish that game and kind of put it to bed or whatever, and then move on and wait for UAL to do something further, I really felt better about the way that we ended, that particular part of the season. And this is just one thing that we hung on that May 4th extension. But now I saw the post going on. I know a lot of schools like Esparza was canceled kind of earlier than most did, and I just kind of hung that in my head, like, man, I hope I'm not going to get on the bus and head that way, and Rainbow doesn't want to play, or that kind of thing. So once I had an agreement that no matter what happened, we were going to play this game, and the girls were going to get to go out one more time at least and do it. I was a little bit happier with that day.
Definitely. Nayeli, in the last 4 years, that I've been able to cover you guys' program, you're unique because you were a freshman, you went to the region final, and then you went to the third round. So you've been in just about every round. Not a lot of players can say that. Just looking back at your career, what maybe stood out to you in your 4 years?
I think being able to play and with the same girls, because I grew up with these girls. Like, I've seen these girls my whole life. I played t-ball with them, and being able to grow up and play high school softball with them and be as successful as we are with them, I feel like that was the best part, because we've seen each other grow up, we've seen each other progress and work at our skills, our softball, and being able to have that bond with them, even as we of course we had our ups and downs, but being able to come together and just be able start that real Hondo legacy and, keep it going and keep our girls knowing that we grew up together. Like, having that bond is natural because we've seen each other go through everything. So I feel like being a successful team with them is what makes it the best. Like, being able to have that success with the girls that we grew up with.
What are you gonna miss most about playing for Real Hondo?
I'm honestly gonna miss everything. Like, I can't even pinpoint one thing because just being able to get on that field was the best thing ever.
We'll let Coach finish his tweet there. Looking back at this team, I think you hit the nail right on the head. Was that we've seen the struggles early on, but then that I think it was the Zapata game. That was the game where it was more of the crossroads. Were you guys gonna rebound in the San Benito tournament, or were you guys gonna just come back and get that first district win? You guys did that, and like Coach said, you guys were starting to trend towards the right direction. Coach, for the underclassmen, for the sophomores and freshmen that you had, for girls like Alize who were starting to hit their stride as an underclassman, how do you I mean, it's almost like you guys have to hit the reset button with these kids on they're losing all this playing time. So as a coach looking into next year, do you pick up where you left off? Do you try to pick up where you left off, or do you start all over again?
I think the obstacle is where do we find the time to kind of either pick up the pieces. I think if we get them later, say after the summer or after say volleyball season, then we kind of hit the reset button and we just kind of start over with whatever progress we had made. If we're allowed to go back in the summer and we're allowed to have those like we had last year, the 2 hours of instruction, then I think you could try to continue to piece some skills together. Because the bottom line is that the kids have most all mentally kind of have hit the reset button by now because the season's over. And so as an athlete, as a kid, I mean, your season's over, you're already thinking about next season. So you yourself probably have already hit the reset button. And a lot of these kids, if say there's no travel ball, say we have a delayed start in football and then maybe there's a delayed start in volleyball. And so now your winter league season is pushed back a little bit. Well, then in that case, and yeah, I think there's a large gap to fill with those sophomores and freshmen and even juniors who were kind of polishing themselves up just for that special senior season. So the workload is there, and there's a lot of things that continue to go on. But the thing that you can't take away is the experience. And so what I would hope is that what we've done in I think it was like 15, 16 games so far in this season before it was cut off that we've definitely taken our lumps. There's no doubt about that. But that we're able to take those conversations that we had as a group after those lumps and saw how mindset and progression and all the things that we went through. This year was going to be a fun year. We had one kid from our 2017 group that we kind of started this whole the whole idea of this image and what we want to portray. And so we're just kind of slowly bringing all the kids around, and then this happens. And so there's a lot of growth and it puts a lot of challenges, but a lot of opportunities next year for us to go back with these young kids. Like Alice will be a sophomore. We have a lot of good freshmen that could help us out next year. But we're going to be very senior heavy again. And I think we're going to have to rely on those seniors even more so now because they've been around, for 3 years. They've picked those seniors next year have been to the Sweet 16. So what more experience do you need than to say, hey, I went to the Sweet 16. I went to the third round as a freshman, Sweet 16 as a sophomore. My junior season was cut short. I've got something to prove. So now that they're seniors, hopefully they take the reins. And I know they had great examples. They had great examples with the seniors, before. Those seniors that we'll have next year, that senior class, April, Annie, Abby, B. Cruz, Anthony, that was a great leadership group when they were freshmen. I know they helped with Mold Nayeli. And then the next group, Kayla and Erica, those seniors kind of came through, did their thing, and then here we are now. Nayeli's done a great job of continuing that legacy of kind of laying the way. So I know they've had great examples. So that's the idea now, is that these seniors know what it takes. They know what happens if you sedentary, and if you kind of let it happen and you don't go out and do all the little things in the summer and hit and run and all that kind of things. They know the consequences. They've lived through the 15 games of, oh no, I can't. Last year's home runs. I always tell them that again. Last year's home runs, they don't count anymore. Last year's outs, we don't get them anymore. So what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now to make sure it happens for you? So that's where I see it is we'll kind of have to wait and see where we can all get back together. But it'll definitely be a challenge, an opportunity.
Nayeli, before we wrap up, any message you have to your teammates, your family, or Coach Esparza?
Yes, I thank my family for everything. I thank them for being there for me whenever they weren't able to stay a Sunday at home and have a family barbecue. We always had to go to softball tournaments in the hot sun. I thank them for just pushing through, because it was worth it. And I thank my teammates for always being there for me and always seeing me as a leader, or like always wanting help and always wanting to be better, and just for being great.
Any message, Coach, for your athletes, for Nayeli?
Well, I mean, and the kids, I first of all, I hope you're safe. I hope that that everybody, myself, my wife coaches volleyball. All of us are just a phone call away if you need us for anything, and you guys know that. And we can't wait to visit with you again. I know we meet every Tuesday, but in between then, we're available. We're doing the same thing you're doing, and sitting at home. But Nayeli, I want you to know this. Kevin, I was Nayeli's 7th grade math teacher for all of 4 months.
Yes.
And then she was her that senior class was the last class that I taught at the junior high. And I had her, Sam Valines, and all those guys in the same class. I think Anthony was in that class.
Anthony was in that class.
In the same class, and then in December, I got moved to the high school. So in December, this class was my last class that I've known for 7 years. And so I coached Nayeli's sister. I think it was 2012, somewhere around there. She was like a sophomore when I got the job there in Hondo as a softball coach. So her sister played for me at the very beginning. So I've known her and her family, and they're just tremendous people. And I want you to know this, that you were like she was one of those kids that would come tell me, hey, you're the softball coach, right? And yes. I said, coach, my sister? Yeah. I'm going to be better than my sister. I'm going to be great. And I was like, okay, but I'm talking about once. I'm talking about every day. Like, I would ask her if you did her homework, and she would tell me how great at softball she was. And I was like, okay, well, sit down, let's get to work, that kind of thing. And so, you didn't let me down, Nayeli. You were fantastic, and I loved all 4 years of it. I know this is not like a, one of those things, but we're always gonna be family, and how us in Hondo, we're always doing the Legends Camp, and I know you're gonna be around, and we're just our family is getting bigger as each class of freshmen comes in, and I know that's what makes us special, in my opinion. So I just want you to know you didn't let me down. You were fantastic, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Me too, Coach.
We're joined by Hondo senior Nayeli Garcia and Hondo head softball coach Brett Esparza. Before we go, Monday at 5, we have a special treat. We're really cooking up. We're calling it, it's gonna be a sideline sit down special, the dream season.
That's right.
Just give a quick teaser on what can we expect for those that are.
Go ahead, Nayeli.
That's all you, Coach.
You were there. You were
That's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be because we're gonna put all the pieces back together.
That group of kids together, man, let me tell you,
It's gonna be
and
a ride.
it's something I've been thinking about, since we called me and we talked about doing it, and I think the more the anticipation builds for Monday, I think that's what we have the entire team that's on board to come, and so no, it's going to be great. I know the stories are going to be a blast, and the memories, and man, I know they've got some good ones that I probably haven't heard. I've got some good ones, and I just can't wait for it. So I'm excited about it, and it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, for the fans out there wondering, we're gonna revisit the 2017 Real Hondo team, a team that went to the region final, and just everything and then some you want in a softball team. This team had it. And they're going to be able to tell their stories, maybe some behind the scene things that the fans didn't see, from the Wimberley series, the La Jolla tournaments, the district plays. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I know we created a group chat, and we've gotten all the emails together, and so we're building it towards Monday at 5. So I know everyone's real excited about it, and like Coach said, just last night we got the last few pieces in place, and we got pretty much the whole team.
That's the thing. I think that what to build on what you said there, like it's the fact that I think all these players that are going to be on, they don't have any problem telling you the behind the scenes things that go on. They're not shy individuals at all, and I think so. For softball people, or for team people, even anybody that just loves sports and the way, and the kids, and that element of that, like this is the things that we could tell you. I'll tell you one right now. One is that Wimberley series. There was when one of the delays, we put them in Dairy Queen because there's a Dairy Queen right beside Sinton, and in that time they were given an allotment of money. I don't know how much per kid or whatever for meals, right? And so it was getting late, and they were like, okay, well, we're into next day, so they're like, we'll just give the kids some money to buy a snack or something,
or a drink,
so that or a drink or something, so that they can relax. It's going to be at least 45 minutes plus, right? And so me and the coach from Wimberley and the umpires and the ADs were outside, on the phone with UIL about what to do and this kind of things. We're waiting, and then the next lightning strike. So I walk back in, and our assistant coach Zeke Rodriguez is in there. And he's like, I was like, hey, did they get something to eat? And he goes, yeah, Coach, they all got something to eat. So I was like, hey, I'm like, there's no food on the table. I'm like, what'd y'all eat? So Tiana tells me that she bought an ice cream cone. And I'm like, okay. So what did you buy? I was asking, what did you buy? And she was like, no, I bought one ice cream cone and I made them all take some. I'm like, why would you do that? They were just so nervous about all that. They were still in the moment. All they heard me say was, get something to eat, and y'all sit down and have something to eat. And so they were like, we all want ice cream. So they got one ice cream, I guess the biggest ice cream Dairy Queen could give them.
I think we got an extra large.
And she made everybody share that one ice cream, because Coach said, get something to eat, and that's just. I mean, let me tell you, there's a lot of those moments like that. Like, oh my goodness, and then that sounds good. Let's go. Time to get back at we all could have got something. I was mad at Tiana. We could have all got something to eat, and I was hungry, and it's too late now. Let's go. It was just all that stuff is just fantastic. But no, I can't wait. It's gonna be great. I'm excited for it.
Yes, that's just a taste. That's just a little.
Yeah.
On Monday, and the good thing is that we're the last show scheduled, so there's no time restriction on it. You guys are gonna be able to share y'all stories. So
that's great.
At 2:00, we're gonna have a special virtual signing. Brownsville Porter's Estrella Medlin, she's gonna be signing at UTRGV for track and field. So we're gonna have that on at 2. And then at 3, we're gonna have a little bit of a baseball special. Edinburgh North alums, Saul Garza, who's at LSU, Giancarlo Servin, and Alex.
Oh wow!
they're both at A&M Kingsville.
Kingsville, yeah.
So they're gonna join. They're gonna join me at 3, and then Shea Patterson is gonna come on at 5.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Product, and he's an NFL draft prospect, so he's gonna be joining us at 5. So, guys, Nayeli, Coach Esparza, thanks for joining us. You guys stay home, stay safe, and we'll see you guys again on Monday for that special.
Yes.
All right, Kevin. Thanks for having us. Appreciate everything you do.
Bye, Kevin.
See you guys. Bye.